Thank you for arranging this meeting. I'm excited to start exploring wealth management options with SCB.
Hey Chris, lovely to see you again. Not a problem at all. So, how's the weekend been with the family and the kids?
Thanks for asking. The weekend was good, just a quiet one at home, catching up on some reading and helping the kids with their school projects. I've been thinking a lot about our last conversation, actually. I'm eager to move forward, but I want to make sure I fully understand what we're discussing. I'd appreciate it if you could walk me through the product details again, especially how it works, the risks involved, and how it fits into a broader plan. I want to be confident before making any decisions.
No worries at all, Chris. So, just to be clear, this is something that you're looking at for your kids' education, right, in the future, because you do plan on sending them overseas. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. I'm planning for my children's education overseas, ideally in the UK or Canada, and I want to make sure we're building a solid foundation for that. But I'm also cautious. I don't want to take on unnecessary risk, especially since this is meant to be a long-term goal. I've been reviewing the product details you sent over, but I still have some questions about how the capital is protected, how the returns are calculated, and what happens if I need access to funds earlier than expected. I'd like to understand the mechanics behind the product, not just the promises, but how it actually works in practice.
Okay, no worries at all, Chris. So, I'll just take you through some of the key features, right, on this product. So, it is the Signature CIO Fund. It is essentially a diversified exposure across multiple asset classes, yeah, and it's actually guided by CIO's latest investments outlook and research, right? Not just that, you get access to an e-saver account. You have high yield it has a high yield savings of up to 2.26% per annum for liquidity as well. And in all honesty, this is like the perfect plan for really busy professionals like yourself, right? So you don't really have to spend too much time on it. It sort of manages the portfolio by itself.
I appreciate the overview, but I need a bit more clarity. You mentioned the Signature CIO Fund is diversified across asset classes, but can you specify which ones? Equities, bonds, real estate, or something else? And how is the allocation determined, based on market outlook? Or is it fixed? Also, you said it's managed by the CIO's research, but I'd like to know how often the portfolio is rebalanced and what triggers a change in strategy. I'm not just looking for a set and forget product. I want to understand the decision-making process behind it. And regarding the 2.26% yield on the eSaver account, is that guaranteed? Is it subject to change? I'm concerned about liquidity and whether I can access funds without penalties or significant delays. I need to be sure this won't lock me in if an unexpected expense comes up.
Yeah, no worries at all. So in terms of the CIO fund, it's predominantly on equities and bonds, right? And this is actually determined on market outlook. It's not fixed. And in terms of the CIO research, we actually update it every single week, right? So it's not something that is really, you have to wait for at the end of each month. You get updates at the end of each week on this. And in regards of the 2.26%, that's guaranteed from our end. Right now, it's not subject to change, but it does go through an annual review, right? And in terms of liquidity, I can tell you this. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because you did mention that you want to be liquid. So this gives you that flexibility. So if you want to pull out your money at any amount of time, any time, you're able to do that as well.
Thank you for the clarification, but I still have some concerns. If the fund is predominantly in equities and bonds and the allocation changes weekly based on market outlook, how is that risk managed? I'm a moderate risk taker, but I'm not comfortable with constant shifts without clear safeguards. What happens if the market turns volatile, say a sudden downturn,